about your first year. How did your first year teaching go?
Ooh, first year teaching. So I started about 8 years ago, and I hated teaching. Because if you know young people where they are now is completely different from we went to school. I remember going to school, yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir.
Right. Right.
But these when I first started teaching, I went in there with the iron fist. I had friends that taught in the county that I taught at, and they said, look, you better go in there with 1,000 rules. You tell them who's the boss, you'll have iron fist, and you tell them what's up. So I did that, and it was horrible.
It was horrible?
It was horrible. I hated it. I didn't like teaching because, I'm expecting these kids to come to class and want to learn, but there was this disconnect.
Yes.
Because where I teach at is a Title I school. And a lot of the students, they come from very difficult backgrounds. They go through a lot of trauma. A lot of our students are homeless. Students that have, just tragedy, things that we couldn't go through as kids. A lot of them they're not homeless, their homes have been burnt down. A lot of them, one-parent homes, their mom is working 2-3 jobs. And so they're coming to school and like, what do I need to learn?
Yeah.
So I'm coming with.
I love that he mentioned, I don't know why that popped up, but I love that he mentioned and basically kind of elaborated on what a Title I school is. Title I schools are basically funded by the federal government. It's usually underserved or underprivileged communities. Most of the time they need more resources and services, housing, food insecurities. It ranges from different things. And a lot of schools are public schools that are in Title I or that are under the Title I umbrella. They have teachers that are not very sensitive to their issues. Now, there are some teachers that are, but there are some that's not. But I really love that he basically kind of elaborated on it to basically say that some of these kids, they have a lot going on, and the last thing they want to worry about is you teaching them. So let's keep going back into the video, though.
They're going through so much. They can't even focus on school.
No, they're hungry,
Yes.
and it's a tragedy. And it's when I'm coming to the classroom, hey, it's time to learn. And I just couldn't relate to them. So
that was the disconnect. You couldn't relate to them.
It was a disconnect. And I just said I couldn't find that connection. And then about 2 years ago, my wife passed away.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where now I'm in their shoes. I understand what it's like to be a single father. I had 3 beautiful children.
Yeah.
So now I'm raising 3 children. I have, a wife of 10 years. She's gone to heaven, and now I'm in their shoes. I need somebody to talk to.
That's a common ground.
That's the common ground.
Yeah.
And I need someone to understand me. So now I understood where they were.
Yes.
I'm now in their position.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really, really sad. I didn't know he had lost his wife. But my condolences go out to him and his family as well. But that's the thing in education. That's pretty much everywhere. You just never know what someone is going through. So you never judge a book by its cover. There are a lot of administrators and teachers that would judge a child because they're dressed nice, because of the car that their mother drive, or the car that they drive. Oh, they're spoiled. They don't want for anything. They don't need to be coming in here with a headache. What they coming in here mad for? Why they coming in here wanting to fight? Sometimes that's all it takes. That's all you see. You see the good and the money and everything, but they're probably raised on money. They're probably raised up on those things, but they're not raised in love. So they don't want to come in and give you a hug. They want to come in and be a class clown because they're not getting attention at home. So it's just important to understand a child from their background and not for what they have and the things that they're displaying. Just get underneath that to understand who they are.
When did you realize that a change needed to be made or a change was happening?
Well, I remember we had this one parent-teacher conference, and there was a young man. It was a trouble student. And I went to this conference, and I said, I'm going to tell this mom everything I don't like about him. Yeah. And every other teacher in that conference had the most positive things to say about the student. And that's when I realized that I am the problem. That the student is not the problem. The students aren't the problem. If they come to school with difficulties, if they come to school and they're hungry, if they're coming to school with these scenarios that a 14, 15-year-old, they don't know how to handle.
Right.
Then why else? That's why they're not learning. So at that point, when I went back to school, I said, I'm going to do something different.
Wow.
I'm going to be more than a teacher. So I went back to school, and I remember that August, I said, let me tell the kids who I am. Let me explain them. Mr. Dallas is not just a teacher.
Right.
But these are the things that I like. These are my children. So I showed them pictures of my kids. I told them the activities I like to do after school. And when they come into class, for the first month, we don't even learn as far as the curriculum.
Right.
We're teaching them public speaking. We're teaching them affirmations.
Yes.
So my door.
You showed them you're human.
Yeah.
And the reality to connect.
So my door, it says, when you enter, you're able. When you enter, you're strong.
Come on.
When you enter, I want you to be expected. Because when you come into my class, I'm going to create a place for you where I'm not just a teacher, you're not just a student,
right,
but it's a safe place. I have something above my door. It says, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Because I remember being in school. I remember being in school and just hating it and being bullied by students and being picked on for different reasons. So I wanted now to make my classroom a place where students can come and they can be themselves and that their potential can really come out.
Now, you also said one person changed your outlook on teaching. Tell us about Dr. Shirley.
Let me tell you about Dr. Shirley. Dr. Shirley is a...
Okay, so basically now he's about to get into, they're going to bring out Dr. Shirley, which is a teacher that inspired him, that he worked with across the hallway from him, that helped him to understand how to relate better to students. He gave him kind of different techniques and things like that, which is always important. It's always good to have like a great person at work that you can rely on. Y'all don't have to be friends, y'all could be coworkers, of course, but it's always good to have somebody that has the same vision and the same aim for greatness, and you guys can work together. So I commend him for that. But so I basically just want to take my hat off to Mr. Dallas, which is the TikTok teacher. I actually followed him prior to seeing this video, so I was really stoked to see that he was on the J Hood show, and he basically created a space and a safe place for children to dwell and just have a good time and just be themselves and not be judged and not feel judged. He created a safe place. And that's important at school. It's important everywhere. You want to feel safe everywhere you go, home and when you go to work or school. But he definitely created that environment for them to be who it is that they are without any judgment. And I love that. I really do love that. So I commend him for that. I work in the school system myself, so I do realize that when you are working with children, you have to be able to put yourself in their situation. When you're working with any population, you have to put yourself in their situation and realize that everybody's life is not perfect. The only thing that changes when you get to school are the titles, because we're still all human. We still all bleed the same, we still speak the same, all of those type of things. We just come from different backgrounds, experiences, life principles, morals, values, all those type of things. So the only thing that separate us is the titles: principal, admin, teacher, student. Those are the only differences when you get to the schoolhouse. So I really do not, and I really dislike when there are like teachers that would judge a student based on what they wear or based on the type of car they mom drive and things like that. You just never know what a person is going through. So I really love that he reintroduced himself to his students and he became a person almost, not just the teacher in the room or the authoritative, figure in the room. He became a person to them. They could relate to him. He told them who he was. He introduced them and talked about his kids, and he became like a friend almost. And not necessarily a friend, because people don't like to throw around being friends with students, but in a sense, everybody needs a confidant at school or at work. Especially when you spend so much time there. These kids spend majority of their time in school than they do at home. You know what I'm saying? Like, they spend the evenings at home. They spend majority of the day at school with teachers and staff. So I just love that he did that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm really, really excited for him. Glad he got the impact and the basically attention that he received, because he's definitely making an impact on these kids, and he's definitely doing his job as an educator. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Let's meet in the comment section and discuss. And if you guys have any topics that you guys would like for me to discuss, please feel free to email me in the using the email that is in the description box. But I'll see you guys on my next video. And remember, be blessed, eliminate stress, but stay genuine, guys. I'll see you on my next video. Bye.